Good evening, nation. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Frequency Drift, which is a German prog rock band. But tonight, I want to look forward to the so-called second half of 2012, which is already in the mix. I want to let you guys know what you're going to be expecting from this channel, maybe some of the albums that I might be reviewing, and I also want to get your feedback on some of the upcoming releases here in the second half of the year that have you particularly really stoked. Now, of course, the first half of the year had tons of great albums, many proverbial contenders for Album of the Year, and one that right now appears to be potentially unbeatable. But here in 2012, the real story is going to be that anything is possible. We've already had two albums nearly top, or at least tie, Creator's Phantom Antichrist, so the second half of the year is sure to deliver a lot more blockbusters. Now, looking forward to some of the upcoming releases, we of course this month have Testament and Knock Mystium still to talk about. These are two of the really big ones that I'm really stoked about. There's going to be a couple other minor ones here and there. Somebody asked me about the Gaslight Anthem, and I'm thinking about reviewing that because I like their last album, and I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I like the way that they're kind of transitioning into more of a Springsteen-esque band. Someone's asking me why I'm not reviewing the new Mark Tremonti album. It's really not my thing. I mean, I like the guy, I think he's a great guitar player, but just not something that I think is for this channel. Maybe that's something for you to review and get your career kind of out of the gates. Definitely think about that. Now, of course, August is going to be huge because of Catatonia, because of Corpa Kalani, because of Isopherum coming up. Of course, later on in the year, there has been the promise has been granted, and the release dates have been delivered to us for albums such as Part 2 of the Parallax EP by Between the Buried and Me, or the Hypersleep Chronicles, and also Part 1 of Time by Wintersun. It's actually going to come before the goddamn world explodes. Well, Part 1 is anyway. Part 2, that's kind of another story. There's a plethora and a myriad of other releases that there's going to be in there, and a lot of those are going to be supplanted by you because I'm going off of no list in front of me physically. It's awesome. But there's also others, the non-metal releases, the things that are just kind of interesting, whether or not they have a local appeal here or on an international level, such as the Green Day trilogy of albums that's coming out starting in September. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Green Day, fuck them! Well, you know what? I'm covering all three of them. Why? Because I can. And because, well, for one, American Idiot was not a bad album. Their last one, I could give a fuck less about, so I'm still a little interested to see about this band. It's one of those bands I listened to in the 90s that you just kind of, follow along at home with. So yeah, it's not just going to be metal. It's not just going to be rock. There might even be a rap release thrown in there too. Who the fuck thunk it? And no, it may not just be Wiz Khalifa. Why? Because there's a lot of stuff that's going around in the store and just in the music environment today with artists such as Meek Mill and 2 Chainz and blah 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 that I have no clue who they are. Which means that whenever they come out, considering these other people know something that I don't, I'm probably going to check them out simply to see if it's something that I can get behind. Because, like it or not, I have to admit the fact that there is still some rap out there that I can tolerate. Why didn't I touch the Frank Ocean album? Is it because he's gay? Is it because his album cover is orange? No. Actually, it just was because I haven't gotten to it yet. I still might, so chill. But also, what about other things that are happening on this channel and things that have just occurred? For one, I'm here to announce that the sponsorship is underway. It's a process that's going through. You'll hear more about that in the upcoming weeks. I know I had a Facebook status about that last week. More as it develops. Secondly, a lot of people have been speaking about discographies, and I expressed interest in doing a Type O negative discography. So this is what I want you guys all to do. First person who comments Type O negative discography, I want you guys to thumb that up if you want to see it. So before you comment it, check and see if it hasn't been commented already. I want a nice overwhelming response. I'm probably going to end up doing it anyway, but this will give me a nice little push to do it while we're kind of dealing with this lull in the action so far here in the latter part of July, moving into the first part of August. I'm also thinking about another interesting idea that's involving discographies. I wish that I could just acquire a gigantic carnival-style wheel that you use to spin it around, and something happens. There's like a number or a word up there, and that determines a prize, or in this case would determine a discography review. That would be incredible. But, considering I don't have access to a gigantic wheel of that nature yet, I am certainly considering doing something of the same light. A contest? No. A tournament? It was a thought, but no. I'm already doing Music Madness. One's enough. However, I am thinking about doing something else that does involve your input. So, stay tuned for another video of this nature that's going to be based around that. However, I will tease you by saying that it does involve a discography review, and it does involve your input. Is it going to be your input on what I say? No. Instead, it's going to be your input on what your fellow subscribers and fans say that will determine which discographies I do. Kind of a neat little concept. So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, the second half of 2012 is going to be nothing without you guys. So what I would like to see you guys do, what would be awesome, down in the comment box, let me know some of the releases, some of the bands, some of the events that are going to be taking place within the next 6 months of this year, including the end of this month. What are you excited about? I'm excited just about the whole goddamn thing. I can't wait. See ya.